You ever look your own kid in the eye and realize they don't even see you as a person anymore, just a wallet, a wall to yell at? Yeah, that was me. That was the night it all cracked. Last week, my daughter Lily showed up on our doorstep at 9 p.m., drenched from head to toe, holding a trash bag like she was straight out of some drama series. My wife. She gasped like she just saw Jesus, pulled her in, hugged her, cried. Me. I stood there with my arms crossed because I knew. Deep down, I knew this wasn't redemption. It was a goddamn trap. But let me rewind a bit. A year ago, Lily dropped out of college. Not because of grades, because in her words, college is for losers. She had some dropout boyfriend with a vape addiction and a SoundCloud account. Classic. She vanished. No contact for 3 whole years. My wife cried herself to sleep. Me, I was pissed at first. But then, I slept better. The house was quiet. No screaming, no drama, no slammed doors. Peace. Then she reappeared. Not in person. No, that would have been too human. She popped up on TikTok. Influencer bullshit. Fake yoga routines. Monday reset videos where she was clearly hungover. Hashtags like #healing and #bossbabe. I didn't even follow her. My coworker's niece sent me a video like, "Isn't this your daughter?" Like I needed that punch to the face at 9 a.m. So when she showed up at the house out of nowhere last week, I wasn't shocked. I was suspicious. She said all the right things, nowhere else to go. I'm trying to do better. I've changed. My wife believed every word. I didn't. She moved in like it was her damn Airbnb. Day 2, she's raiding the fridge, hogging the Wi-Fi, and scrolling her phone like it's a full-time job. I asked her to take the trash out just once. She goes, "Aren't you retired? Why can't you do it?" I swear to God I saw red. Still, I stayed calm. I told her, "You got 24 hours to either pull your weight or pack your shit." That was the deal. She laughed in my face. Said I was a terrible dad. Said I never supported her. Classic projection. My wife. She begged me to let her stay, but I didn't cave. I meant it. That night I crashed early. Just wanted it to be tomorrow already, the day she'd be gone. Finally. But life has a sick sense of humor. The next evening, knock at the door. Sharp, loud, not friendly. I open it. 3 cops, all serious. One flashes a warrant. We received an anonymous tip about narcotics on the property. I legit thought they had the wrong house. I laughed, nervously. I said, "You sure you've got the right address?" "Yes, sir. Your name is on the report." My blood went cold. They searched everything. The kitchen, the garage. Her room clean. Of course. Mine. They flipped the damn mattress and there it was. A Ziploc bag of heroin. I couldn't even speak, just stood there shaking. Lily sitting on the couch, arms crossed. Watching. Smirking. That fucking smirk. I muttered, "That's not mine." But it didn't matter. The bag was under my bed, my house, my name, my arrest. They cuffed me in front of my wife. My daughter didn't even flinch. Didn't try to defend me. She just sat there like she was watching a YouTube prank video. That was it. That was the moment I knew this wasn't a comeback. It was an ambush. Premeditated, clean, cold. I got shoved in the back of a cruiser while the girl I raised posted another goddamn selfie in my living room. So yeah, that's how this started. And if you think that's bad, just wait. Last night, I sat on the edge of my bunk in county lockup staring at the peeling paint like it owed me answers. You ever feel so angry your teeth hurt? That was me. My daughter framed me for drug possession and smiled while I got dragged away in cuffs. And now, here I am sleeping next to a guy who stabbed his cousin over a bucket of chicken. I didn't sleep. I couldn't. Not with that smirk of hers replaying in my head like a broken record. And I kept asking myself the same thing over and over. How the hell did we get here? 2 days into jail, I finally got a phone call. Thought maybe my wife would pick up, say she was sorry, say it was all a mistake. Instead, I got her voicemail. 3 rings. Then her voice chipper and clueless. "Hey, we can't come to the phone right now." Click. All right, screw that. I called my buddy Marcus, old colleague from the university. He picked up. First thing he says is, "What the hell, man?" I told him what happened. All of it. The cops. The drugs. Lily, the smirk. I could hear him breathing hard like he couldn't decide if I was lying or just cursed. Look, man, he finally said. If there's anything I can do, I'll do it. Just tell me what you need. I need a damn good lawyer. Turns out lawyers are expensive, especially the good ones. But Marcus came through, called in a favor with some hotshot criminal defense guy named Aiden Coles. Guy shows up looking like he just stepped off the set of Suits, all crisp lines and steel eyes. I didn't like him, but I needed him. He looked over my case, took one glance at the arrest record and said, "This is weak. They've got possession, but they don't have intent. No prints on the bag, no surveillance, no controlled buys, just location. So I'm getting out." "No, you're staying put until the hearing." Judge denied bail. I laughed. I actually laughed out loud. "You're kidding." "Do I look like I'm kidding?" I stopped laughing. 5 weeks passed. 5 goddamn weeks. Food was trash. Bed was worse. I kept to myself mostly. Read a lot. Wrote letters I never sent. Every few days my wife came to visit. Sat across the glass eyes, red hands shaking. But she didn't ask the right questions. Didn't say, "I believe you." She just kept saying stuff like, "Why would she do this? And there must be some mistake." One time I snapped, slammed my fist against the divider so hard the guard banged on the glass. "She did it. You know she did it. But you're too scared to admit it." My wife flinched, then she cried. I didn't apologize, I couldn't. I was too angry. Then one day Aiden walked into the visitation room with a laptop and a look I didn't like. "You're not gonna believe this," he said. He pulled up Lily's public TikTok account. Yeah, she didn't even bother making it private. She was posting like nothing happened. New ring light, new outfits, fake-ass captions like "staying positive through hard times." One of her latest videos, she was laughing in my living room, the same room I got arrested in. Caption, "Back to basics, head healing, # new chapter." New chapter, my ass. I stared at the screen, jaw clenched. She's living in my house. Technically her mom's too, Aiden said. But yeah. And then the kicker. He opened another file. We pulled some metadata from her phone. Got a tip from a guy she used to hang out with. Apparently she's been moving small amounts for a while now. But get this, she brags in her messages that Dad's place is the perfect stash spot. Said he wouldn't notice even if she hid it under his pillow. I sat back. I didn't say anything for a long time. Finally, I muttered, "I fucking knew it." "Here's the good news," Aiden said. "We've got enough to push back. No guarantee it gets you out early, but it's something." "Push back," I said. "Cool. Can I push her down a damn flight of stairs while we're at it?" He didn't laugh. Court date came. I was brought in shackled like some cartel boss, while my daughter sat in the back wearing sunglasses indoors like a B-list celebrity. She didn't look at me, didn't even blink when they read the charges. My lawyer presented the messages, the witnesses, the lack of prints, and the judge. She leaned back in her chair and rubbed her temples like she'd seen this movie too many times. After a long pause, she said, "We're moving to dismiss the charges pending a full investigation into the daughter's activities." Boom. I didn't celebrate. I just nodded. Because even though I was walking out of court, my life was still trashed. My reputation? Shot. My marriage? Hanging by a thread. My home occupied by the person who set me up. When I got back, I didn't go home. I went to Marcus's place, crashed on his couch, watched late-night TV with the volume down low, drank black coffee, didn't talk much. A few days later, the cops raided my house again. This time, they had a warrant for Lily. Found more drugs. Some in the couch cushions. Some in her purse. Some in a shoebox marked old photos. Irony's a bitch. They arrested her on the spot. She screamed, cried, said she was being targeted. Whatever. My wife called me that night, said they took her. I said, "Good." Silence. "She's still our daughter." "Not anymore." She hung up. I didn't call back. So now here I am trying to figure out what the hell I do next. My name's technically cleared, but I still feel dirty. People look at me like maybe I did it. Like maybe I'm just good at covering my tracks. And my wife, she's gone emotionally. Writes Lily letters. Still believes there's a good kid in there somewhere. Me. I know better. I started journaling. Not for therapy. For evidence. For clarity. For the podcast I'm thinking of launching. Yeah, a podcast. Framed by my own daughter. You think I'm kidding, but I'm not. People need to hear this suck. You know what's wild? Aiden said. The judge might offer Lily rehab instead of prison. 8 years in some recovery program. 8 years for trying to ruin her own father's life. She'll probably do 2 and get out with a sponsor and a fresh start. Meanwhile, I get to rebuild from zero. No thanks. So here's what I've decided. I'm not letting this slide. I'm not just going to move on and heal like some pop psych article told me to. I'm going to take everything she did, every lie, every smirk, every tear my wife cried, and I'm going to make it mean something. If she wanted to ruin me, she should have aimed better. Because now I've got nothing to lose. And a man with nothing to lose. That's a dangerous fucking thing. 2 days after they arrested Lily, I finally walked into my own house. Felt weird, like breaking into a place I used to know. Her perfume still hung in the air, sugary and cheap. There were mugs in the sink, makeup brushes on the kitchen table, her ring light still plugged in next to the couch like it was some sacred altar. For a second, I just stood there in the living room staring at it all. Then I unplugged everything, shoved her shit into a box, and dumped it in the garage. I wasn't mad. Okay, that's a lie. I was absolutely fucking livid. Not just at her, but at everyone. The cops who arrested me without thinking twice. The neighbors who gave me those judgmental looks at the grocery store. My wife who couldn't even say I believe you when it mattered. And yeah, I know she was confused. She was scared. Screw that. I needed a partner, not a neutral third party. Later that night, she came over, let herself in like everything was normal. She had a bag of groceries and some handwritten letter from Lily's rehab intake form. I thought maybe we could cook dinner, she said, smiling like it wasn't awkward as hell. I didn't say anything, just stood there, arms crossed, waiting for the real reason she showed up. Sure enough, she finally said, she wants to write you. I laughed, sharp and ugly. She tried to have me locked up for the rest of my life. And now she wants to send me a fucking apology card. She's in treatment now. They say she's opening up. Oh, is that what we're calling it? Opening up. I call it damage control. She got quiet. Real quiet. Then she whispered, she's still our daughter. I turned to her dead in the eye. She stopped being my daughter the minute she smiled while I was dragged out in cuffs. She didn't say anything after that. Just put the groceries on the counter and left without another word. Good. I didn't want dinner. I wanted distance. The next few weeks were weird, like living in the fallout of a bomb you didn't know went off until you saw the smoke. I had to meet with Aiden a few more times to finalize everything. The charges were dropped, but the record still existed online. News articles, arrest reports, public mugshot. I emailed every outlet, sent legal takedown notices, and even paid a PR firm to help clear my name. Know what they told me? Google never forgets. Cool. So I leaned in. If the world was gonna Google me, I'd give them something else to find. I started writing, like really writing. Not just journaling, but outlining everything. Timeline, dates, evidence, texts. I even recorded myself telling the story just to hear how I sounded. And I realized something wild. I didn't sound like a victim. I sounded like a guy who survived a damn war. So I uploaded the first episode. Called it Framed by My Own Blood. No music, no sponsors, just my voice and the truth. It got 42 listens that first night, mostly Redditors and true crime junkies. Then someone posted a clip to TikTok, me talking about the moment I saw that heroin bag pulled from under my bed, and the video went viral. Her own daughter set him up and smiled while he got arrested. Comments blew up. People were pissed. People were invested. And suddenly I wasn't just a guy who got framed, I was a story, a voice, a warning. By the end of the week, the podcast had 30,000 streams. By the end of the month, over 300K. Spotify even emailed me about a partnership. I said no, not yet. I wanted to keep it raw, unfiltered. Because this wasn't a business move. It was a reckoning. Lily's rehab program got wind of the podcast. Apparently, she didn't appreciate being exploited for content. Oh, the irony. She sent me a typed letter. Not handwritten, no warmth, no remorse. Just a bullet list of things she was working on and how she hoped we could rebuild trust. I didn't respond, didn't even finish reading it. I tossed it in the same box as her old hair straightener and vape pens, trash with more packaging. Meanwhile, my ex-wife, now kept trying to stay in touch. She started sending me articles about forgiveness, about healing family wounds. I sent her one link in return. It was the clip from court where the judge read my dismissal out loud. You could hear the silence in the room when it hit. Like everyone realized they'd bet on the wrong horse. She never replied to that one. And honestly, I felt lighter after. The podcast grew. I kept sharing pieces not just about Lily, but the entire emotional fallout. The way trauma lingers. The rage that simmers. The silence that stings harder than screams. People started reaching out. A guy in Arizona said his brother scammed their mom and made him look like the thief. A woman from Ohio said her daughter stole her identity and racked up $18,000 in debt before disappearing. I realized I wasn't alone. Family betrayal isn't rare. It's just usually quiet. I wasn't going to be quiet anymore. So I kept going, episode after episode. Not just revenge reflection. Anger, sure, but also the little moments of clarity. Like how I stopped waiting for apologies. Or how I started planting tomatoes again. Stupid shit that felt like taking control back. Lily got sentenced, not prison rehab long term. 8 years. Minimum of 4. Some judge thought she needed restoration, not incarceration. Cool. Meanwhile, I needed a restraining order just to feel safe walking to my own damn mailbox. But hey, progress, right? Know what really got me, though? It wasn't the setup. It wasn't even the jail time. It was realizing that she'd planned it. That somewhere in her twisted little brain she thought, let's destroy Dad. He deserves it. Not because I hit her, not because I neglected her, but because I told her no. Because I gave her a consequence. That's what broke me. But here's the part I don't tell most people: I don't want revenge anymore. Not the dramatic movie kind. I want distance, boundaries, silence. Because that's what hurts people like Lily the most, not screaming, not threats. Just being irrelevant. So I cut her off. Blocked her number. Told the rehab facility not to contact me unless she dies or escapes. Changed the locks. Sold the couch she used to crash on. Deleted her from every family photo one by one. And before you ask, no, I don't feel bad about it. She made her choice. Now I'm making mine. I got a new place now. Smaller, quieter. No shared memories. No ghosts in the walls. I planted those tomatoes. They're starting to sprout. Funny, right? 5 months ago, I was locked in a cell wondering if anyone believed me. Now I've got a garden, a podcast, a community of strangers who see me clearer than my own kid ever did. People keep asking, will you ever forgive her? And my answer is simple. Forgiveness isn't the goal. Peace is. And I finally fucking found it. It's been 4 months since she was sentenced. 4 months of silence, mostly. No letters. No calls. No, I'm sorry, not even a fake one. And I'm not surprised. She was always good at vanishing when things got uncomfortable, ghosting teachers, friends, me. This is just the final form of that same damn pattern. Honestly, I prefer it. I've had enough of her words. Now I get to live without wondering if they're lies. But of course, peace is never total. The ex, yeah, she's my ex now, still sends updates. Lily completed her first month clean. She texted last week like it was a medal or something. I stared at the message for a solid 10 minutes before replying. Cool. That's all I said. No emoji, no follow-up. She didn't answer after that. We're playing this passive-aggressive game now where she still tries to act like we're co-parenting, like there's still a family to save. There isn't. That ship didn't just sail, it hit the iceberg, sank, and got picked clean by sharks. Anyway, back to now. The podcast is doing numbers I never imagined. Spotify sent another offer. This time with money. They wanted to sponsor the series. I hesitated, but I said yes. Not because I need the cash, I'm still sitting on my university pension, but because this story, as ugly as it is, clearly hit a nerve. People don't just listen, they relate. They message me after every episode. DMs filled with lines like, "My dad went through something similar. My brother accused me of abuse to steal our inheritance. My son framed me for credit card fraud. Thank you for saying what I couldn't." I never expected this. I was just venting honestly. Screaming into the void. Now the void's screaming back, and it turns out I'm not crazy. I'm not alone. And that's helped. A lot. Still, every so often the rage creeps back in. Like when I check my name online and still see mugshot clickbait. Or when my neighbor, fucking Jerry, waves at me like we didn't all hear him say, maybe he really was a dealer behind my back last fall. Or when I pass by Lily's old high school and remember the parent-teacher nights where I defended her to people who saw the truth before I did. That SHT burns. But I use it. I channel it into the mic. Episode 10 was called Trust is a Myth. It hit 1 million streams in 2 weeks. People said it was my rawest one yet. I didn't sugarcoat anything. I told them about the years leading up to it all, how the signs were always there. The little lies, the attitude, the entitlement. I talked about how love doesn't mean blind loyalty, how sometimes the most loving thing you can do is walk away. I ended the episode with this. The worst betrayal doesn't come from your enemies. It comes from the people who swore they'd never hurt you. And when they do, you don't owe them your silence. You owe yourself freedom. That quote ended up on t-shirts. No joke. Some guy printed it and started a little side hustle. He mailed me one. I wear it when I mow the lawn. Kind of poetic. Anyway, the funny part, the more I speak publicly, the more the people in my real life shut up. Nobody's asked me if I forgave her in weeks. Not since the rehab staff tried to get me to join a restorative family Zoom circle. Yeah, that was real. They emailed me saying Lily has expressed a desire to reconnect and take accountability. I replied, no interest in her performance art. Good luck. Left it at that. I know what they were hoping for. A little tears and hugs story. Cue the music roll credits. But this isn't a movie. This is real life. And in real life, some wounds never heal. They just scar over and harden, and you either learn to live with them or you spend your life bleeding. I'm done bleeding. Now let me tell you about the twist. See, while I was rebuilding my life, I kept digging. I couldn't help it. Curiosity, habit, paranoia, whatever it was, I needed to understand how deep Lily's mess went. So I reached out to one of her old roommates from college. This girl, Hannah, she'd messaged me after episode 3 saying she had something I might want to see. We met up at a cafe downtown. She looked tired, older than I remembered from the one time I met her years ago. She handed me a USB drive and said, "This is from our old shared Dropbox. You might want to check it out." I got home, plugged it in, and holy shit. Videos. Text screenshots. A folder labeled LOL Dad wouldn't even notice. In it, footage of Lily with her loser ex-boyfriend packaging tiny baggies in what looked like my garage, clear as day. You could hear her laughing in one of them. My dad's so stuck in his old man routines he doesn't even realize I use his toolbox for storage. I paused the video, replayed that part, watched her smirk, felt that cold weight hit my chest again. She used me like a shield, like camouflage. And I let her. That night I didn't sleep. I poured a drink, watched every second of that footage, and made a decision. I sent it all to my lawyer. Then I made a bonus episode. I didn't name names. Didn't need to. Just told the story with a few hypothetical examples. Let the audience fill in the blanks. And they did. God, did they ever. Reddit caught fire, threads, screenshots, speculation, sympathy. Lily's rehab facility disabled comments on their social media, probably for the best. They say she's been struggling with shame lately. Good. Let it burn. People asked if I was planning to press charges. For the video. For the framing. For the emotional trauma. I thought about it. Really thought about it. But here's the truth, I don't want to waste another ounce of energy on her. The system already failed me once. I'm not betting on it again. I'd rather build something that lasts. So instead of suing her, I built a studio. Nothing fancy, just a spare room with foam panels, a mic, and a desk. I record there now. Edit my own episodes. Bought a little neon sign that says "Not Your Daddy's Podcast." Bit cheesy, but it makes me laugh. I talk about pain, boundaries, toxic family. I bring guests on now, therapists, victims, even a retired cop who straight up said, "Your daughter ran one of the cleanest frame jobs I've seen in 30 years. I asked him what he would have done. He said, "Same thing you're doing now. Expose her, then move on." So I am. Sort of. There's still part of me that aches. Not for Lily, but for what I thought we had. For the years I wasted trying to make her into someone she never was. I think a lot about the last real conversation we had before she left for college. She was standing in the driveway, oversized hoodie duffel bag slung over one shoulder. She hugged her mom, then me. "You're gonna be proud of me," she said. And I believed her. God help me, I did. Turns out I just didn't know how wrong she'd prove me. Now I take that memory, fold it up, and file it away with all the other lies. It doesn't hurt less, but it doesn't control me anymore either. The past is just data now, and I'm building something new. Next episode's called "What Happens When You Let Go." I'll let you know how it ends. 6 months out now. If you told me a year ago that I'd be running a podcast, sleeping better, and no longer married all because of my own damn daughter, I'd have said, "What are you smoking?" But here we are. I've learned that peace doesn't show up all grand and dramatic. It sneaks in quiet and weird. Like last Tuesday when I woke up and realized I hadn't thought about Lily for 2 straight days. 2. That hadn't happened in years. Not since she hit high school and decided rules were just optional. You want to win, that's a win. But the thing is, peace makes space. And that space fills up fast, usually with stuff you've been ignoring. Feelings, questions, regrets. Yeah, those. I've been thinking a lot about what broke her. Not in a soft, forgiving way. I'm not writing her a song. But I keep wondering, did I miss something? Did I say the wrong thing one too many times? Was I too hard, too cold? Or was she just built this way? That's the part that eats at me. Because if it's the latter, then maybe there was nothing I could have done. I talked to a therapist. Only once. Guy had this whole open floor plan vibe, fiddle leaf fig in the corner cardigan soft voice. He asked me what I wanted. Closure, I said. He smiled like I was a freshman in Psych 101. You mean answers. I nodded. Then he hit me with this: sometimes closure isn't about getting answers. Sometimes it's accepting you won't. Fuck. I paid $130 to hear that, but damn if it didn't stick. So now I try to let the questions come and go like waves. I don't chase them. I just watch. And when I feel like drowning, I hit record. The podcast is therapy now. For me. For others. Episode 14 was about guilt. I talked about the time Lily was 6 and lied about her teacher yelling at her just because she didn't want to do homework. We believed her. Stormed into that school like some courtroom drama demanding apologies. The teacher cried. Turned out Lily made the whole thing up. That was the first time I felt that chill, the kind that says something's off here. But I ignored it. I told myself she was just imaginative, sensitive. We all did. Now I can't unsee it. People wrote in after that episode. Parents, siblings. One woman said her daughter stole from her for years and made everyone think she had a gambling problem. Another guy said his brother took out a loan in their dad's name. It's always the same story in a different costume. Lies, gaslighting, pain, and the slow, slow death of trust. But here's the part I didn't see coming. Somewhere in all this mess I started healing. Not because of forgiveness. I still don't forgive her. I'm not even sure I ever will. It's because I stopped pretending. I stopped performing some fake version of fatherhood where I'm supposed to unconditionally love a person who would sell me out for clout and a few grand in drug money. You know what that kind of honesty does? It frees you. Like really frees you. I went on a hike last weekend. Real one boots backpack, no signal. Just me and the woods. Somewhere around mile 4, I sat down, looked out over this overlook, and just exhaled. For the first time in months, I felt still. No podcast to edit, no emails, no ex-wife guilt-tripping me, just quiet. I pulled out my phone and deleted her number. For real this time. Deleted the voicemails. Deleted the old photos. There's this one of her when she was 4 sitting on my shoulders laughing so hard her eyes were squinting shut. I kept that one the longest. But I deleted it too. Not out of hate. Out of honesty. That girl's gone. She doesn't exist anymore. And holding on to that version of her, the sweet one, the innocent one, was just another way of lying to myself. That night, I slept like a rock. A week later, her rehab counselor left me a voicemail. Lily's asking if you'd consider a supervised call. She's in a better place now, making progress. I didn't call back. I didn't even listen to the whole message. Instead, I made another episode. This one was about silence. About how choosing not to engage isn't weakness, it's protection. It's reclaiming your life from people who weaponize access. And yeah, that one hit hard. Got more emails than I could count. You're giving words to the thing I didn't know how to say. That's what one guy wrote. His daughter drained his bank account, wrecked his credit, then blamed him for not being there. He said he felt like a villain in his own house. I know that feeling too damn well. We're sold this script that being a parent means infinite patience, infinite grace. But that's bullshit. Grace without accountability is just enabling. And love without boundaries. That's just self-harm. So now I live differently. I say no without guilt. I keep my circle tight. I let the phone ring when I don't want to talk. I don't apologize for protecting my peace. People think revenge is about fire, explosions, drama. But this quiet, steady rebuilding, that's the real revenge. Because I'm not broken. I'm thriving. I'm alive. And she doesn't get to be part of that. Not anymore. I'm working on a book now. Not a memoir, not really. More like a survival guide for people who've been betrayed by blood. Title's still in progress, but I've got one I like. When family fucks you over notes from the other side. Too blunt, maybe, but it's honest. I've also been invited to speak at a few mental health events. I told them I'm not a professional, just a guy who got burned and decided to talk about it. They said that's exactly why they want me. We'll see. Anyway, I know I'm rambling. But this is what healing looks like, sometimes messy, repetitive, raw. It's not linear. Some days I feel solid. Others I wake up with my chest tight and that old ache sitting there like it never left. But the difference now, I don't drown in it. I sit with it, let it pass, and then I get up, make my coffee, and do something that reminds me I survived. Last month I picked up guitar again. Used to play in college. Forgot how good it feels to let your fingers work something other than a phone or a keyboard. Music doesn't judge, doesn't talk back, just exists. Feels like breathing. And I'm not saying I've got it all figured out. I don't. But I've come a long fucking way from that guy in county lockup wondering if anyone still believed in him. Now I believe in myself. That's more than enough.